I think our team really excelled at being strategic. We had a strategy from the very beginning to maximize the team's total points, and having this to sort of guide our decision making process allowed everyone to, basically think along similar lines and sort of consider the information in a way that would not only benefit their own character profile, but also the entire team.
So, what was most challenging about the simulation was finding the right balance, the fine line between risk and reward. It was about aligning every individual's goal with the team's goal, about finding out which individual, like their specialty as well as their different point system, and what would really bring the team to the high score. And so was everyone had valid opinions and perspectives, very different perspectives. So every time we had like someone's health turn weak, it would spark a lot of discussion as to whether we should provide the medicine or move on or stay at night. So communication was really the core of this whole simulation, and that was also what I believe our team did the best. Right off the bat, we made a Google Docs to share, and we organized our point system so that we figured out very fast what got us the most points. And we were very clear in our communication, very straightforward. We all had strong opinions, but we respected each other. And I think that made the whole team very strong, unified. And every time we came to a decision, we were in it all together. So no one was left out. And I think that made us a really strong team.
In the simulation, I play the environmentalist. My particular role sparked a lot of the debates in our group because my character had health concerns that were not easily identifiable and needed to be handled carefully in order to not bring down the team's mission of summiting Mount Everest. This presented challenges in dealing with the unknown and our group's varying tolerance for risk and for sacrifice. I think what worked well was that we were all unafraid to voice our concerns and we did not move forward until we reached a consensus. Something else useful was that we all used logic to guide our arguments, and all of our potential plans made sense to each other because of that.
This Everest simulation, our journey was short and online, but from those 2 hours, I think our group made a lot of progress in the way we made decisions. It was challenging to ensure we considered all factors before coming to a decision and we could accurately predict the uncertainties of the following day. In the beginning, we did not know to preemptively act, but once we understood that, we worked much better as a team. We started at Everest Base Camp and slowly made our way up the mountain while considering all the health and safety precautions needed to keep our members safe. Each day, we would look at all the data given and bring up relevant information to discuss as a group, then come to a consensus on that. As we progressed higher up the mountain, our health began to deteriorate, and we had to consider weather conditions before making a decision for the next day, whether we would stay or whether we would go forward. We were able to sacrifice individual points for a stronger shot at reaching the summit and maximizing our group points, which I think is very valuable. Overall, I think our group responded well to the uncertainties that were given, and we recovered fully from an initial blunder.
In respect to the most challenging aspects of this challenge for our team, what we really struggled with and had to plan for was this discussion of how do we coordinate our efforts in a way that's going to be most beneficial to the task. So the first part of this was really identifying what our task was and what our objective was. Collectively, we realized this whole idea of getting to the top of Everest was really not necessarily the goal. It's kind of something that's very tempting to buy into, but we really recognized that we were ultimately trying to get the most points possible by collaborating as a team. So to do this, we went through all of our collective points. So I, for instance, was a photographer, so I would receive 3 points for surviving, a point for staying a day at campsite 1, and an extra point for staying an additional day at campsite 2. And so we kind of looked through all of the different ways that we could accomplish points and then found what our general strategies were. So, for instance, what we found was that each team member that would make it to the summit would be a point for the team, but surviving and not having to be rescued would result in 3 points. So this caused us to develop this very risk-averse strategy because we were trying to avoid really having to be rescued because that would be a pretty significant damage. And this kind of concept of coordination and a shared team strategy was important because when we went into each day, we identified different risk factors we had, whether that was health or the weather circumstances or whatnot. And from that point, we were really able to leverage our different kind of skills of analysis and different ways that we thought to make different roles within the team work well together and be
Our
coordinated.
team did a great job working together, but I think the biggest challenge was definitely how to make the final decision, since every factor and every comment was very valid. What worked really well was discussing our common goal in the beginning and our most important priority of avoiding rescue, as well as summiting the mountain. I think because of this, we were able to get a general direction of how we would want to prioritize different factors.